I am going to be talking about 4 ways that you are able to level up in your career. But I want to say this. We're talking about you having to level up, right? That can definitely look different for everybody, right? So I don't want you guys thinking that I'm only talking about trying to move into some kind of lead role, right? But that can look different from for everybody. When you think about yourself, when you think about you wanting to level up in your career, what does that mean for you? Right? Are you talking about you do want to probably advance into some kind of lead role? Are you wanting to make more money? Do you want to be able to have more time with your family? Do you want to be able to just maybe learn new skills? Like, what does that mean for you? So, because I definitely want to be sure that I'm able to share some stuff that relates directly to you. If you do see me having to look down, know that I have my notes. You guys know that I come on my live streams prepared, and I definitely just don't want to throw you guys some random knowledge. And so, if you see me looking down, I am looking down at my notes. So, it's kind of like what I was saying, guys. It's time to level up. We are getting ready to go into 2023, which is going to be here in a few months. And, I'm not one for like New Year resolutions, stuff like that, because I definitely believe that you can make a change at any time you want in your career. But I just am about you being able to track your growth and your success. And so when you look at where you were this time last year, right? And you look at how you are now, have you seen some change? Have you seen some growth, right? Doesn't mean that that change has to be like huge, but have you seen yourself grow? And I think that's what's going to be important. And that's why I wanted to kind of do this live stream. And also, Miss Anissa, if I'm not saying your name wrong, I'm sorry if I am. She was on my live stream last week, and one of the questions she asked was, "Hey, how do we prepare to go to that next level?" So she definitely inspired this whole live stream. And I was like, oh, that is such a good topic because a lot of people want to grow in their careers, but they don't know that it's going to take some prep work before you experience that, right? So I wanted to kind of really deep dive into that this morning. I see somebody says that they want to be able to get the skills necessary in order to be successful in a leadership role. Okay, good, Anissa. I will be talking a lot about that this morning. New skills, more money, not necessarily a leadership role. Tired of being stuck at the same salary. Currently upskilling, going for a Salesforce certification. Oh, go you. Okay, good, good, good. So we definitely have a little bit of a wide range of what that means, but trust me, the information that I'm going to be sharing with you guys this morning is going to like help all of you guys. So let's go ahead and get into one way that you are able to level up in your career, right? And for one way, y'all, which I talked about before, but I really want to go into really depth this morning is self-awareness, right? Or you being able to do a self-analysis on yourself. So if you came on this live stream this morning because you wanted tips on how to look for a job, or you wanted some link on how to make your page look better on LinkedIn, friend, this is not that live stream. Okay, I have plenty of other content that you can go binge about that, but this morning I want to talk about what is it going to really take for you to get to that next level, and the 4 things and the 4 ways that you can advance. So I want to talk about you being able to start to really analyze yourself, right? To analyze where you currently are, because a lot of people are so much in this race to get to more, right? Or to move higher, but they're not taking a look at themselves. And that is a really, really key part in you wanting to level up in your career, because if you're not really taking a look at yourself, right? If you're not really seeing, okay, what are those things in me that I need to change? Then what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself with all of these great ideas, but you're not going to be able to put them forth, right? Or allow them to really come to pass, because you're not looking at the main component of everything, and that's you. So I want you to start thinking about, one, what are you like really, really, really good at, right? Getting clear on that, right? What is the value that you bring forth? What are you really good at? And also, don't just think about what you are good at, right? I want you to also think about what do you do well, right? Because we automatically think, excuse me, what is it that you enjoy doing? Is what I meant to say. So don't just think about what is it that you do well, but think about what do you enjoy. And I think that's missing piece that a lot of people don't really think about. So when they think about that next level, that they don't even know which direction to start in because they're just always in grind mode, always in work mode. Somebody said, I've been doing your 5 day challenge, but even before I was having come to Jesus talk with myself. Yes, I'm so glad. I do have a 5 figure salary increase challenge, guys. If you want to increase your salary by 5 figures, I have a challenge for you. So you can go to the salaryIncreaseChallenge.com. But yes, I'm so glad you are enjoying that. I'm so glad to hear that. Again, that is the salaryIncreaseChallenge.com. But what I was saying is that you need to start really looking at, guys, is how have you been showing up at work, right? Have you been able to show up the way that you know that you need to show up at work? And really look at that because, again, I first said that going to that next level, or you being able to level up, is going to look different for everybody. I'm pretty sure everybody that's on this live stream has a different answer on what that looks like for them, right? But in order for you to know which way to go, you have to know where you are. And so I want you to really start thinking about, okay, I am wanting more, right? I think that I'm ready for more, but what have you been doing with what you already have? Ooh, that's a word, right? What have you been doing with what you already have? Have you already been showing up? Right. And this is what hurts a lot of people because, I know that there's the whole, what they call it, what's it called, guys? Quiet quitting. We have that going on, right? Where people are saying, I'm done, I'm not doing this anymore, kind of having that shutdown mentality. And I see the pros and the cons on that. But we have to remember that when you're operating your career, guys, it is about a lot of it has to do with you teaching yourself habits. And those habits can either be good habits or they can be bad habits. So I want you to start thinking about how are you currently showing up? And this is if you have a job and if you don't have a job. So don't think, well, I don't have a job. So no. Even if you don't have a job right now, how are you showing up for yourself? Right? Are you allowing the fact that you don't have a job to make you feel like you can't show up in a certain way? Right? Or if you do have a job, are you not really putting in the work because of some kind of work hurt or you feel like things are not being done right? Because people don't realize when you shut down at work, what you do is you train yourself to not operate the way you should be operating based upon things that are happening around you. Okay, again, you train yourself to show up in a certain way just because things are not happening in a certain way around you. And that is really important because why my voice is like this morning. That is really important because you have to start experiencing growth in your career, right? You have to be able to start handling things at work with grace. Now, this is not saying that you're not allowed to speak up for yourself. This is not saying that you just let any old thing happen at work, right? But I want you guys to stop letting what's happening around you affect your character, affect the way that you show up, and allow these particular challenges that you face at work to build in a new skill, right? When you're talking about wanting to go to that next level in your career, right? You need to be thinking on which is my next point, self growth, self improvement. That is the foundation of your career success or really your overall life success is what are you doing to work on you, right? And again, if this is your first time here, I'm not your basic career coach saying, hey, girl, just go in, find jobs online and just go. No, we got to work on you, right? Because you are the core component of it all. And it's not saying that necessarily you're doing something wrong, right? But as you get ready to go to that next level in your career, you're going to have to really start thinking about, hey, you know what? A new level requires a new me. Let that just sit. A new level requires a new me, right? And so you cannot go into this new level of your career thinking the same way about yourself. So many of you guys think so low about yourself, right? So how is your career going to advance when the thought of you has not advanced, right? How are you able to get more in your career, whatever that more looks like for you, if you're not willing to think more of yourself. And this is not some, self-talk of a whole bunch of fluff. No, this is about us. I say us, right? Because though I own my own business, there's still things in my life that I have to improve on, right? But this is about us wanting to really analyze ourselves and don't just think about a skill gap, think about personality gaps, right? Think about what are the ways in you or what are habits that you trained yourself to do and to be that is causing you to get that is stopping you from getting to that level of success that you want. I think Anicia said that she wanted to to be successful in a lead role. And friend, this is just an example, friend. So what you got to realize, okay, if I want to be in this lead role, I got to first of all, and this is for anybody who is wanting to get in a lead role. If you're wanting to be in a lead role, you need to start showing up as a leader before you get the lead role, right? Because what people don't realize is what you are now is what you're going to be when you get that job if you do not make the changes that you need to make. Y'all, this is helping anybody right now. Because I know you're like, oh, girl, you friend, you was coming deep this morning. Because I told y'all, if y'all are super sensitive, this is not the live stream for y'all. But know that everything that I'm speaking in love because I want you to be successful in your career. And a good resume does not make you have career success, right? So I want you guys to really start thinking about what are the changes that I need to make, right? Already becoming the person that you need to be to see the career success that you want. And guess what? A new you doesn't fall out of the sky, friend. A new you is taking a serious look at yourself and say, hey, what is it about me that I need to do to advance? If you are wanting to move into a lead role, you cannot be seen as an effective leader if you don't talk to nobody, right? If you don't want to be around anybody at work, if you just want to go to work and do your job and lead, friend, they will never see you as that leader. Okay. But what you got to do is you got to train yourself to deal with conflict at work and not take it personal. Right. And if you want a lead role, ask for it. That is where that self growth and that self improvement comes into play. Hey, what do I need to do? Or what is that trait in me? Or what is that habit that I taught myself that I feel like I can't ask for what it is that I want? Right. So when you even go in and talk to your boss, is not the tone of the conversation is not, do you feel like I'm ready for this role? The tone of the conversation, right? Because that already screams doubt. That already screams she's unsure. But the conversation needs to be, I feel like I am ready for this role. And let the conversation go where it will go, but lead with, I believe that I am ready for this role, right? You've already set the tone, right? But what habit have you taught yourself to make you feel like you have to get everybody's permission to go after what it is that you want? Right? We are talking about that growth. We're talking about that self improvement. And we're talking about you becoming the new person for this new level in your career. And really, you could really use this advice, guys, for any area of your life. Right. But this morning, we're definitely just talking about what it looks like as far as you going to that next level. Also, I want to talk about you being able to learn new skills. Learning new skills, which goes back to my first point, you getting really clear on what you are really, really good at and maximizing that. The current job market that we are in, you cannot afford to let your skills go stale, friend. You cannot afford it, right? And you cannot afford just getting comfortable with a few skills that you do well, right? So I want you to think about, okay, think about the strengths, think about how are you able to expand and maximize those strengths, but also start thinking about what are some new skills that I can add in my skill box, right? And I don't want you just go like randomly trying to pick a skill, right? I don't want you just going on online and finding a course and saying, oh, that's not, no, friend, we got to be strategic in this, right? So I want you to start thinking about, okay, what is a skill? What are skills that will get me to where I need to be, right? And this is going to take you thinking a little bit ahead. I'm not talking about thinking 10, 15, 20 years, right? But just thinking a little bit ahead and thinking about, okay, I have to be able to keep and hold on to and improve and maximize and leverage some skills, for one, to make sure that you are making the amount of money that you should be making. Because I tell people, your salary is only as good as your skill set. I say it again, your salary is only as good as your skill set. So if you let those skills go stale, right? They start to become outdated. Your salary will too. So I want you guys to really start thinking about what are ways that you can really maximize your current strengths, but also start thinking a little bit outside the box and think about what are some skills that you can also add in. Hey, Rashonda, good morning. And let me talk a little bit about let me talk a little bit about professional development. This is not your boss's responsibility. This is yours. Now, if you can find a company that will, that will invest in your professional development, hallelujah. That's a great thing. That is definitely a perk, right? I think a company that invests in your professional development is way more than one that just give away these free pizza parties and this other stuff that you don't need. But finding a company that will invest in your professional development is a perk, right? And if you have not already asked, y'all, for this, a lot of times you guys don't have what you want because you don't ask for it, right? I worked with a client. I was telling her to really look into finding a company that's going to invest in her development, right? And she was already at at the job she was at right now. But she went and asked, right? They already hired her on, and she said, "Hey, I want to know if you guys offer anything like this." And they said, "You know what? We actually don't, but we really never really thought about that." And they began to ask her, "What does she have in mind?" Do y'all know that they gave this lady $3,000 to take whatever course she wanted online? So they actually started this up all because she just simply asked. So I want you guys to start really thinking about your professional development. Even if your current boss, or if you start a new job, it is not their responsibility per se, but it's on you. Meaning that if they don't offer this, you still need to find ways outside of your job to make sure that you are keeping those skills fresh. I've asked several times and was turned down every time. And yet, that is very common. I wish a lot more, when it comes to companies, I wish they did offer these, but a lot of companies don't. So that's what I was saying, is that it's really up to you to invest in that side of you. And so, being able to have a diverse set of skills. I didn't say you got to have 5,000 skills, right? But just having a diverse set of skills and looking for skills that are transferable, right? Meaning that skills that you can use in a wide range of roles, like project management is a good skill. You can use that in just about any industry that you can think about. And I'm not just talking about hard skills either, because some of y'all got amazing hard skills, right? But a lot of y'all don't have no soft skills. You you do an amazing job, right? But you may not be able to be the most, let me say this, you may not be the most pleasant person to be around at work, right? You may not be at the place where you have come to know how to build relationships, right? And this is not to like shame anybody or talk down, right? I'm here to help you. And so, what I want you guys to think about now is not just what classes can I take online or what hard skills I can add to myself. What are some of those soft skills, right? What is your communication skills like? When you are maybe explaining something at work or having to share information, does the other side have a hard time understanding what you're saying, right? And so when you think about going to the next level in your career, think about this too. Think about, okay, What are some things, just even how I even speak to people that I work with, how I treat the people that I work with? Am I a team player, right? Talking about going up to that next level, talking about becoming the person that you need to be, right? Also, I want you guys to even think about, which this is probably a mix between the self-improvement and the self-awareness, is who are you surrounding yourself around, right? Are the people that you surrounding yourself around, do they push you to that next level? Or are they saying, ooh, you doing too much? Right? We have those friends that they just like the bare minimum. And hey, if that's what you want, friend, that's fine, but that's not what I want, right? So are you surrounding yourself with the right people that is going to allow you to get to that next level? Because I tell people, you are no more than the people that you hang around, right? Because it's so hard to want more in your career. It's so hard to want more in your life if the people around you, for one, if you don't see it, and two, if the people around you are always having something to say about what it is that you want. Right. And so I'm not saying to just ignore your friends, but sometimes you get to seasons in your life where you're like, you know what? I know what I have to do. And sometimes that may take you being able to surround yourself with people that are already where you want to be, with people that enjoy their job, with people that make the money that you want to make, with people that have the job titles that you want, those kind of people, right? So now you're able to see, okay, wait a minute, this thing is possible because I've surrounded myself with people that are operating in what I want. A lot of you guys don't think that you can have what you want because you don't see it, right? My own self started my business scared to death. Like, what? First person in my family to ever own a business. So I did not have, and I have in my life, I have one other friend who owns her own business, and she's really successful at it. But her business is not a online business, right? So it's different. It's the same. I had to start getting online and building relationships with people that were successful running an online business. Right. And so I'm up here and I'm sharing my goals with them. Right. And then they are sharing what they do. I'm like, I'm thinking too small. I'm thinking too small. Right. So I had to make that mindset shift and really get around people that were doing what I wanted to do. And that's what you guys need to do, which leads me into my third point. You need exposure. Right. You need to get visible, whether that is on your current job, on LinkedIn, in the area that you are in. Somebody says, "Oh my God, one of my coworkers just wants to do the bare minimum. She complains about our salary, but doesn't want to do the work to get more money." Friend, that's a whole nother live stream. But I want to talk about you guys getting the exposure, and that's going to be really key. Let's start off with the people that you are already at your job. Okay. Look, stop hiding. Stop hiding at work. Right. Stop saying, okay, I don't want to get around them, or I don't want to get around them. Because, a lot of times you feel like if I kind of show up the way that I know that I should be showing up, then people won't understand me. Okay. But first of all, that is an assumption, right? And then, second of all, if that is the case, what does that have to do with you? And sometimes we make everybody else's problem about us ours, right? And it's not, because majority of the time when somebody has a particular issue with you, not saying all, but the majority of the time, it really reflects what they are. So I need you to get more visible at work. I talk about it all the time. Where is y'all brag book? And you know what? I'm actually going to, this is something that I'm going to actually, I want to put it out by next week. I want to make a accomplishment, kind of like spreadsheet, book, whatever you want to call it, for you guys to keep up with your accomplishments. So if this is something that you would like, drop a 2 for me, because so many of y'all are not keeping up with the results that you bring forth at work, right? And one way of getting exposure, guys, is talking about what you do. Talking about the impact that you make at work. Talking about your successes, right? and getting comfortable with operating in I'm doing a really good job. Who taught us that when you talk about what you do well, that means that you think too much of yourself? Who taught us that, right? How are the people that you work with or your boss supposed to see how much of an asset you are if you don't talk about it? If you're not afraid to share what you are doing? Right? How are they supposed to? Okay, hold on, wait a minute. So I'm thinking what you're thinking is that they are just supposed to see, right? They may possibly see that result of it. Wow, like she did X, Y, and Z, right? But do you share with them the process of what it took for you to get that result? Because they could be trying to just minimize it, right? But they don't know the skill set it took, or you having to work more hours, or they don't know the process because you don't share that with them, right? And the more that you get comfortable having these conversations, reminding them, right, especially those of you who work at a large space, but reminding them what you are doing and reminding them hey, you need me. Especially everybody's so afraid right now that we're in this big old recession per se, or it's not here, or it is here. You need to be speaking up. You need to speak up and start talking about the impact that you make. And again, it's not about more work, right? It's a lot of time it's just about more visibility is what you need. You are doing the work, just nobody knows about it, right? Start having those conversations. Now, let's switch over. If you were in a job search, you don't have a job, or even if you have a job, this still applies to you. Let's start with LinkedIn. A lot of y'all just be scrolling, just scrolling. You could possibly be scrolling right past the person that you need to speak to get the opportunity that you want, right? Start thinking about not what job do I need to apply to, but start thinking about who do I need to talk to. Not saying a job board is bad, it's not the most effective strategy, right? But don't just keep thinking like what job do I need to apply to, but start thinking about who do I need to speak to. Somebody said, is it important when asking for professional development to show how it will be an asset for the company to train you? Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Anissa, is definitely a lot more that I could have said about that. But of course, again, that's a live stream within itself. But yes, when you're wanting to ask the company for help in that area, you definitely need to be able to show them how is it going to make you do your job better. Right. So kind of like what I was saying earlier, you want to be strategic. You don't just want to go and find something, a particular class that you heard about online, but you got to be strategic about this. And you have to know and be able to show how this particular new course, class, whatever it is going to be able to help you advance. So yes, that is a great point. So, you guys really got to be able to start to get in the right circles, start speaking to the right people, stop leaving your career in the hands of Indeed or whatever job board y'all use, and start having the conversation. So, let's address the elephant in the room. I'm scared, Alicia. I don't feel comfortable talking to somebody. This goes back to that self growth. This goes back to that self improvement, right? This goes back to, am I willing to do what it's going to take to get to the level in my career that I desire to be, right? Remember, new levels, new you. So it's not is and if you're afraid, if you're scared, I think it's great that you know that about yourself, right? Because the worst thing that you could possibly do is play dumb about yourself. Like, I don't know. No, you know why you haven't been trying to network and have conversations is because you're scared, right? And that's okay. But remember, we're talking about building habits. You build a habit by doing something over and over and over and over and over again, right? You will never build a habit of being able to network or talk to strangers about your career if you never do it. You got to build the habit up, right? So start small. Start with engaging on somebody's post on LinkedIn, right? You still networking, you're still engaging, but maybe you're not having a direct conversation just yet. Start engaging with their comments. The more that you engage with them and they engage with you, You start feeling like you already know them. A lot of y'all on here follow me on LinkedIn, and I feel like I know y'all because we're always chatting it up in the comment section, right? So start there, right? Then after that, start thinking about being able to send a direct message on LinkedIn, right? Starting small, easing your way out. But I tell people at whatever speed you want to go to that next level is the same amount of speed that you need to take action, right? So if you're like, Alicia, I'm ready to move now. I'm tired of being in this place. You need to get really aggressive with you building these habits, meaning you don't do it once a week and think that in the next couple of weeks I'm gonna be good. No, you got to do it every day, right? You may have to even do it a few times a day. So when you're talking about going to that next level, start thinking about what is the rate of speed do I want to move at, right? Or what is the rate of speed do I want to get there? Because that is going to determine how fast I need to do these things. It don't have to take long. It don't have to take long at all. But what it does take is you being aware, is you trying to look in ways and find ways that you're able to improve yourself and start to think about your personal and professional development, because your personal development, right, lines up with your professional development, which affects your career development. 8 times out of 10, you're not where you want to be in your career because you have not worked on that personal development, right? So don't just think about what do I have to do to be a successful boss on my job, or how do I show up at work, right? Start thinking about what do I need to do to make me better. And as you get better, right, that new you is going to start overflowing in all the other different areas of your life, right? So the foundation of your success is personal development, which a lot of people do not think about. So, on the lines of talking about this more exposure, if you have not set up a meeting with your manager, I want you to do that. Again, we're talking on the lines of exposure. Exposure is not just saying, I just want them to know who I am. Exposure is saying, I want them to know who I am. I want them to know what I do, and I want them to know what I want. I'm gonna say it again. The exposure is I want them to know who I am. I want them to know what it is that I do, and I want them to know what I want. Right. So, and again, when you are setting up a meeting with your manager, this is not saying go in there and just shoot a whole bunch of demands and say how awesome you are. No, because when you're working with your employer, you're definitely talking about a partnership, right? Meaning that it needs to be beneficial on both sides. I'm not saying to go in there and just say I'm awesome, and just ask for whatever. What I am saying is that taking the opportunity to have conversations with your boss, so now you have an opportunity to state what you want, but also set up the meeting with your manager to be able to even get feedback from them, because a lot of you guys don't want feedback, and you need feedback. You need feedback to know where you are and what are those gaps that you need to fill. But if you don't move yourself and get to that next level, right, in your mind, you won't get there. So be open to feedback. Set up a time to meet with your manager to get the feedback. A lot of companies don't do annual reviews anymore, and that just don't understand that. Like how am I supposed to measure the success that I have if I don't talk with you? Right. So even if your boss or the place that you work at does not set up annual reviews, set one up. And depending on how fast you want to grow there, that's going to determine how often you need to really set one up. If you are thinking about wanting to move into a leadership role with your current employer, you need to set one up every 3 months. Now, I don't know the atmosphere of your place. I don't know the structure, but every 3 months would be ideal. If not, then there's nothing wrong with you doing it once every 6 months. But every 3 months is really ideal if you're on a aggressive track to get to those lead positions, because now you have the opportunity to share your ideas, your plans, and you also have an opportunity to get consistent feedback. So as you are receiving the feedback on the areas of growth, now you can start to fix those things in a timely manner versus just meeting with your manager once a year. Now, again, I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm talking about how aggressive do you want to be in advancing or getting to that next level, right? So when you are having to meet with them once every 3 months, again, it's not just about you saying I want, I want, I want. It's you being able to show them, hey, these are the gaps that I'm seeing in these tasks that I do. These are the areas of improvements I think we can make, and also reminding them, right? What it is that you want out of your career, hearing their ideas on your growth, right? What vision do they have for you? A lot of y'all could have seen a long time ago that your current place that you're at is not a good fit for you if you would have had those conversations, right? But getting proactive with them, having those conversations, saying, okay, what is it that I need to do to get to where I need to be? Or I need to find out whether or not you're able to support the goals that I have. And the sooner you can find that out, the better. Right. So get into the habit of you being able to start setting up those meetings with your boss. Okay, somebody says my company has reviews every 6 months. Oh, that's really good. That's and you know what? You really don't hear that often, but that's great because this is the thing. I think the more you talk with your boss or whoever that particular head is, the better, right? Because for one, you can really see, is this the place that I need to stay? Right? Is this place really aligned with what I want want out of life? Right? Can this job support the life that I want? And you cannot do that if your head is always down working. You're working, you're working, you're working. You're not thinking about anything else rather than the tasks that you do every day. And that's how you look up and it's been 5 years. Right. So I think the more conversations that you have with them and the more that you keep them engaged is for one, when it is time to advance or for a raise or whatever, you will be top of mind, right? Because you're not just head down hiding away from everybody saying, don't y'all talk to me, right? But you're getting engaged. That is going to work out for you. And so, like I said, if you guys have not set up a time to meet with your boss, do that before the end of the year. Get clear on what do you want the result of that meeting to be about. Do you want to talk about what does the next step look like for you? Do you want to talk about areas of improvement that they may see, right? Or do you just want to have a conversation with them for yourself to see, do I need to be here? Because sometimes the quality of conversations that you have with your manager will give you the answer that you need, right? If they kind of like real dry, like, okay, yeah. If you're like, yeah, so I wanted to talk with you about what grow excuse me, can't talk. What growth opportunities could there be for me down the road? And they're like, oh well, yeah, we'll see. Oh no, see what? What is there to see, right? So, but if they are starting to really deep dive in and they're starting to like ask you more questions, then that's a good sign. So the quality of conversations will give you the signs that you need. Okay, so I want to hit my last point. And my last point is make a plan. Some of y'all know what y'all want to do, right? But you have not put the necessary plan in place to make sure that it happens, right? So, a quick recap, the 4 ways to level up in your career. We have talked about you being self aware, you starting to really analyze where you are. We talked about that growth. We talked about that self improvement. We talked about getting more exposure, becoming more visible, whether that's in your job search or at work. And now we're going to talk about you being able to make a plan. Let me see, because y'all is chatting it up in the chat box. Somebody said we write how we think we're doing, and the supervisor writes her comments whether we are meeting those goals or not. Okay, my manager sets up a one-to-one with, I think he said, with us once a week. Oh, Sam, that's good. Once a week? That is awesome. Yeah, I had a talk with my manager last week. Okay, so it seems like A lot of you guys are already in that action of starting to really advocate for yourselves and starting to really become more engaged. And I think that's great. What I want you to do now is just to start putting some kind of timelines, not saying they have to be strict, right? But start thinking in your mind, okay, where do I want to be in my career in the next 6 months, in the next year, right? Start thinking about that, because what I don't want to happen is you guys are just having a bunch of conversations and you're not seeing any results from them. So start really thinking about what is it that you want to get out of the meetings that you're in, or even your current position, right? What is it that you want out of your current role? When was the last time you thought about that? What do I want out of this role? Because most people are just really concerned about, okay, I just got to go to work and just no. What do you want out of this? Are you wanting to gain more skills to move you into something else? Are you even wanting to stay there in advance? Are you wanting to make more money? What is it that you even want out of that current role? And does that current role provide that for you? Right. So when we're talking about you being able to make a plan, I'm huge on career strategy. I really feel like everything you do in your career needs to be strategic, y'all, because we don't have a lot of time to waste, right? And I always talk about not just focusing on how you feel about something. Yet you definitely want to acknowledge your emotions, but don't base your decisions on that. And so the way that you can do that is simply by making a plan. And this is for you if you're in your job search or if you're currently at your job. Start making a plan to put these things in action that you want, right? And I don't want you guys to overwhelm yourself, right? Start small. Start making a plan that is going to get you to where you want to be in the next 3 months, right? What does that plan needs to look like? Because and I have mixed feelings about this. It depends on the kind of person you are. If Because some people do very well with large goals, right? Meaning the fact of like little small goals overwhelms them. And so they like to focus on the quality of goals rather than how many goals they set, right? So they'll set like really big goals and that helps them. You have some people that the big picture overwhelms them. So they need those small goals, right? Because those small goals are going to hold them accountable to something to make sure that they stay on track. And it helps them to feel more confident when they can reach those small goals, right? So it really depends on who you are. But I really want you to think about and what feels most comfortable for you. Start setting in a plan, right? What do I need to happen within the next 3 months? What are those goals for the next 3 months? Also, I want you to think about what is holding you back from the growth that you want. Think about that. Say, okay, because it's not always you that's holding you back. Though that's the case the majority of the time, there are times where, hey, you're doing everything that you should be doing, but it's the place that you're in that's holding you back, right? You want to go to that next level. You started doing that self-work, but the employer that you have is holding you back, right? They're wanting to hold you in this certain position that you just do so well and they can't see anybody else doing. And so when you do ask for a raise, when you do ask for that next role, they keep holding you back because they want to keep you to themselves, right? So I get it. So in that case, it's not necessarily you, but it's the environment that you're in that is holding you back. And then I want you to ask yourself, if I keep doing what I'm doing right now, if I keep doing what I'm doing at this very moment, if I don't change anything, will I get to where I need to be? Okay. That's going to help a whole lot of y'all. If I don't do anything, like meaning like if I don't change anything I'm doing right now, will that help me to get to that next level? Right. And if you can answer, girl, no, I ain't gonna get there. That's okay, friend. Right. So what we're doing is we are switching over to making a plan, but in order to make a plan, we got to see what gaps need to be filled. Right. So now I want you to think about two things. What are two things I can do to move myself closer to that next level? And that's going to look different for everybody, right? So if you're in that job search, you could be like, Alicia, I have not been as strategic in my job search. I have not been doing what I know I should be doing, right? Or if you're on your job, you're like, Alicia, I have not been having those conversations as I need to have. I have not been as engaged in work as I know that I should be, right? So start thinking along those lines, because self-awareness should lead to action. I'm gonna say it again. Self-awareness should lead to action. You being self-aware should not just lead you to being sad about it, right? But you being self-aware should lead you to action. And so again, I don't want you guys to overwhelm yourself. And so again, let's do a really quick recap. We're talking about the 4 ways to level up in your career. First one is doing a self-analysis, being self-aware. Number 2 is finding those areas of self-improvement. 3, allowing yourself to get more exposure, whether that be on your job or on LinkedIn. And 4 is making a plan. What is one aha moment that you've had during this live stream? Or what is one thing that you are going to change immediately or do or start doing to get closer to your goal? So, because I need you to hold yourself accountable to something, because I don't want you to hop on this live stream and say, "Oh, friend, this was so good," and then you leave and then you don't do nothing. I want to help you to be able to see the results that you want to see to get you closer to where you actually want to be, whatever that next level looks like for you. Because again, we are not, what I don't want you guys to do is just to be people that sit and just hope and wish, oh, if I had this kind of career, it'd be so awesome. No, I want you to have it. And the way that you get that is by being able to take action, right? Being able to be self-aware. I told you I'm not this regular coach that's going to say, oh, yeah, we got to fix up your resume, though I help my clients with their resume. Or, oh, yeah. No. Okay. We are getting clear of who we are, and we are getting clear of what we want. And I want that for you. Somebody said, do a self analysis on myself and assess what I'm really good at. Good. And you know what? That is going to boost your confidence, because most people focus on on those areas of them being weak. Wait, just way too much. Focus on your strengths more than your weaknesses. Work on those weak areas, but focus on your strengths, right? And that's going to help you to become more confident, because now you're not just always thinking about what you don't have. You're not just always thinking about, what you lack, but you're really thinking on what you already have and understanding the power of what you already have. So I think that is really, really good. So I said visibility and networking. Yes. And you know what? You always comment and see, I know y'all names. And you do very well with me, right? And so because I feel like we're friends. I really do. Because I always see you and stuff. So, just take that same amount of effort and put that into maybe a certain job that you want, right? Or maybe there's a certain place that you want to work with. Start putting that energy towards the people who work there, right? So you already have the skill, right? But you just got to like transfer it over, and you'll start to really see the success that you want to see. Guys, make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. For now, I am going to be going live every Tuesday at 7:15 Central Standard Time. So please drop in the comments below if there's a particular topic that you want to talk about. I only want to talk about what you guys want to hear about, those areas that you need help in. I don't mind talking about job searching. I do it all the time. I just don't want that to be the only thing that I talk about, because that's so much more than career success than your job search. And a lot of you guys only focus on your career when it's time to look for a job. And I want to change that. I want to show you how to manage your career. If you are wanting to get more support from me away from this live stream, there are 2 ways that you can work with me. I do have my own group called Purpose to Pay. We focus on career advancement and professional development. If you would like to join that group, you can go to purposed with a D to pay, purposetopay.com. And if you are wanting to work with me one-to-one, you can also go to IamAliciaPerkins.com to find out more information. And I'll be sure to drop that information below. Well, all right, guys, I enjoyed you guys as always. Again, if you have any particular comments or any particular topics that you want me to talk about on these live streams, you can definitely drop that below or send me an email at IamAliciaPerkins.com. That is IamAliciaPerkins.com. And I will talk to you guys later.